Awesome. And I'm sure they can hear us too.
I'm pretty sure they
Uh,
can. Do we want to?
it's so weird. So, real quick before we start the show proper, Devon's running point on everything on the technical end, and I just have to be here. It's nice.
There's like no prep
But I
work for
might,
you. You were good.
we might have to delegate this out to. We might have to rotate because I'm kind of digging this.
I'm fine
I'm in
with
a
that.
weird location, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So, if you're watching the show and it looks a little bit different this week, Devon messed up.
Definitely my fault.
Uh, yeah. We'll just get right into it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And this week we're talking about the Patrick Swayze's film Roadhouse, a film that was Devon's pick.
My
This was
pick.
Devon's pick, right?
100% my
Okay.
pick.
So weird.
Each week we make each other watch films that at least one of us has never seen before. I had never seen Roadhouse. Ryan, had you seen it?
I thought I had. Clearly, I was wrong.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be good talk,
So
guys.
we'll get into that. Before we do that, we like to talk about things we've seen in pop culture over the last week or so. I missed last week's episode. I had some stuff come up at the last minute. But I went and saw a thing and I wanted to talk to you guys about it because I bought stuff to talk about, like to have in the background for the show, and I didn't get to, and I'm kind of upset about it because one, I wasn't here last week, and two, I don't have room behind me.
Well, what did you buy? I have to at least know that.
I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the little cup topper from my cup.
Oh, incredible.
So I got that right here next to Geordie LaForge.
As you do.
And then the big thing, like popcorn buckets are the big thing right now. I got one that's not the trap one or the Slimer one that everyone got. I got one that's like one of the trash can style.
Oh, I like that though, because you fit more popcorn in it. It's practical.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I have several of the. So the reason I'll get back to Ghostbusters here in a second. The reason my background looks different is my basement's currently flooding.
Ooh.
So we have a guy coming to fix it, but he was like trying to get water to stop coming. So he grabbed some of my old popcorn buckets. He's like, meh, I don't mind. Use the Justice League one. I don't care.
So is it currently being used to
some trash cans?
Is it like being used to bail water right now? Like, is that what it is?
No, I don't. I think he needed it to like wipe something off and put like trash in it. So I was like, I mean, it's serving its purpose.
That's fair.
Anyway, Frozen Empire.
Yes.
It's been a while. Let me remember what the movie was. Yeah, I liked it. Going into it, like watching the trailer in front of everything that I've seen this year so far, it seemed like there was too much going on in the film between the cast from Afterlife with Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon and Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace, like them plus the original Ghostbusters plus Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani. It felt like there was going to be too much in the film, but it wasn't. It was surprisingly well balanced. Dan Aykroyd is actually a character in this one, not just a cameo. Ernie Hudson is there to do stuff, and then Bill Murray just shows up randomly, which is the weirdest thing about it.
That fits.
It's Bill Murray. It's what
Bill
you
Murray.
expect.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. It was fun. It was a great sequel to Afterlife and helped continue the legacy of Ghostbusters and pay tribute to that as well. So,
what were Patton and Kumail doing? I didn't know they were in this.
Kumail plays the guy. Kumail's pretty much the Rick Moranis of this one.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Like he's caught up in the story without knowing that he's getting caught up in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Patton Oswalt plays a librarian who is into like all of the magical occult stuff.
I love this. I need this. I don't know why I haven't seen this movie yet.
We're going to go see it this weekend.
Ugh.
Nice.
Why, Alan, why was it getting... So I asked this of Ryan last week, because we mentioned briefly that you had seen Ghostbusters. I had heard and it could be the sites I'm on, just bad things about it. Why would people be saying bad things about it? It sounds great.
I think a lot of people want the Ghostbusters that they grew up with, and it's not the Ghostbusters they grew up with. It's very reminiscent of the cartoon.
I like that.
There's a lot of things going on. There are some things about it that are like, oh, that's weird. Are you gonna go that way? Because she's 15 in this.
What?
Yeah. But it doesn't go the way that you think it might go. It's I just don't like the internet. People on the internet are
That's fair.
wrong most of the time. So
That and the only like negative things I've been seeing are from sites that have nothing good to say about anything, like the AV Club.
Oh, I miss the AV Club sometimes.
I don't.
You know,
I don't read
think
it.
whenever I see a good review from the AV Club, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to see this more now. So,
thanks to AV Club.
Yeah.
Alan, did you see anything else? Did you see
I
specifically
did.
2 other things?
I saw specifically 2 other things. Yeah. I watched most of Ricky Stenicki.
All right, tell
on
me
Amazon.
about this.
It's an R-rated comedy with Zac Efron and John Cena. And if you guys know me and John Cena, I think he has a great talent for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw he was doing like taking the lead in a character piece like this, I was like, okay, I'm in. It's a lot of dick jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm
not surprised.
I could not stop laughing.
Is it that good?
I wouldn't say it's good. I'd say it's funny.
Okay.
He gives a great performance. I think the 3 friends, the plot is interesting. Like they're pretty much playing a long con where they have this imaginary best friend that they've had their whole lives, and people finally call them on it. Like, hey, this guy should be here for your son's bris. So they actually have to get a guy to play the fake friend, and they get John Cena.
Oh, that's
who's
fun.
like a alcoholic, out of work actor to like con all of their friends and families and loved ones. Yeah, I saw most of it. I haven't seen the last like hour. Like I watched like the first half. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed now and then finish this in the morning, and I did not.
Aw, it sounds like a lot of fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing that I watched. And then over the weekend, I took a play out of the Devon handbook.
Yes.
And saw a play. I watched real theater.
I'm so jealous.
And so I was in New York for the weekend for the holiday, visiting some friends. Shout out to a friend of the show, Bill and Teresa. We were hanging out at their place Saturday evening and just looking at shows on Broadway, like what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie Izzard was doing a one-woman show of Hamlet in New York.
I have all the questions, Alan.
Yes. Did I tell you guys how much I paid for tickets to this?
No. How much?
$22 a ticket.
How good were your seats, though? Were you like nosebleed?
No, front row.
Oh, no.
Got to make money somehow.
Oh, no.
So my neck still hurts from having to be like this the whole time. But it was amazing.
Was it amazing?
Show. It was. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were just puppets, like hand puppets. Like every time she played them. I've never seen Hamlet before, and I really enjoyed it.
So hold on.
A way to watch Hamlet for the first time.
Your first Hamlet was Eddie Izzard doing a one-woman show?
Yeah. Yeah. My first Shakespeare I was going to say my first Shakespeare outside of a high school, but no, that's not true. I did see Drunk Shakespeare the one year for Comic-Con.
How? Okay, hold on. On a scale from like 1 to 10, 1 being Devon, you're the best person, 10 being I hate you or kicking you off, how mad would you guys be if I made you watch a Hamlet? Like, or watch a Shakespeare for this?
I wouldn't be mad about it.
Because there's a David Tennant,
Is it
Sir
one-
Patrick Stewart version of Hamlet that y'all need to see.
Oh, I would watch the shit
It's
out of that.
so good.
That's actually been on my list to watch, and I've never gotten around to
Okay,
it. So
yeah,
I would
it-
actually be happy about that.
Is
Okay,
it-
good.
Is it a play version of it? Or
No,
is it
it's like a
film?
full movie.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be able to follow along on who's who and understand the plot. Because I was like, oh wait, that's a different person now. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Okay. Yeah. But watching a one woman show, one man show, whatever, like watching one person perform all the different roles, I've
Mhm.
never seen before.
I've never seen that
So
either.
I've never seen anything like it, and it was giving me ideas like, if I could do a one man show, what would I do? And I've decided.
Can we guess?
If we ever start, yeah, you can guess. But if we ever start a Patreon, I might do this just for the hell of it.
All right.
What do you think I would do a one man show of?
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It's not even a question. I know you're doing it.
It doesn't matter what your
It's
answer
not a
is.
bad
You
one.
know
Doesn't.
it.
What are you
No,
doing?
I was thinking Tommy Boy.
Oh shoot! I really like that.
Yeah.
Devon, how about you?
What would my one
If you need
person
to
show
do,
be?
yeah.
I would want it to be Back to the Future. I would really.
No, I will give you I have the Shakespearean Back to the Future.
Yes, that
So
one.
you do
Yes.
that as a one man show.
Oh, you know what? Maybe this is what we do in our Patreons.
Yeah. I've never been more inclined to start a Patreon than I am right now.
I kind of love this. I have the Star
Yeah.
Wars as well.
Yeah, I have one of the Star Wars too. So
Well-
you telling us to wrap it up?
Ryan, what
No,
would you do?
I was saying that I'm getting my finger up to just to get you guys' attention. Mine would be Starship Troopers from the Bugs perspective.
Good, as you should. Chad has also
And it
let
would-
us know there's a very good version of Othello out there that I need to have you guys
Okay.
watch as well.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's weird that I can't see chat.
I know, it's all me. I got it now. I have the
Um,
power.
So I need to tell you guys something else that happened in New York that I didn't. This is the surprise that I told you about.
Tell me.
So we spent the day in Manhattan with a friend of the show, Bill, and we went to the Museum of Optical Illusions in Manhattan. Half of the things were broken. Don't recommend it.
Oh!
But we got some cool pictures and things. It was cool. We wish more of the things were working. After that, I went to my first board game cafe. So
You have
I was
my
given the
interest.
task of pick a game to play, and I picked up Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid,
Oh,
like a-
man.
a-
Yeah.
a figure game. So we played it. We got really into it, and then went back to Bill's place, and I ordered it. And it came yesterday.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
So I'm going. Like you guys know me. Like you've seen how much Marvel Legendary I have. I've gone off the deep end a little bit. So we got back to Bill's place before we bought the Eddie Izzard tickets, and we were looking on like eBay and Mercari to see if we could find it for cheap.
Hmm.
We got the Kickstarter version, which came with like a bunch of expansions.
Oh,
that
shoot.
that alone runs for 160. We got the whole thing, that and the base game for 150.
That's
It
incredible.
was like a great deal. So,
Yeah. Oh, okay. We got to play next time I'm in town. That sounds
yes,
incredible.
Yeah. Anna's gonna go through and paint some of the figures.
Is
that
she?
they actually,
Oh, that's very neat.
yeah. Evidently, there's a game store like 2 miles away from me, which I did not know until last night.
Why did you? I was by your house. Why did you not tell me? I need to know the location of game stores
I didn't
everywhere
know.
I am.
Next, come back to town. I will take you there.
I'm there. I'm there.
We,
It's incredible.
we pulled in not knowing where this place was, and it was 2 storefronts. I was like, oh, this is bigger than I expected.
I love that.
So, the best thing was we walked in, and one of the clerks came over to ask us if we needed help, and I told him we just bought this game, and we're looking for expansions for it. I think we have some over here. So we followed him. As we followed him, we walked by the legendary section. He's like, let me go take a look at the computer and see if I can find it for you. Okay. And then as soon as he turned away, I sprinted back to the legendary section.
How many did you buy? How many? Be honest.
I didn't buy any because they had all the ones that I want.
Oh, got it.
I have all the ones that they had that I wanted.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna buy the Inhumans expansion because meh.
Nah, yeah, it's fair. Well, I have to tell you guys, I watched something. And Ryan, this might be a bit of a repeat for you, but I have
That's
a
fine.
feeling that Alan has thoughts, and I want to hear Alan's thoughts. And if you don't, then this part's going to go really, really fast. But I watched X-Men 97. And Alan, have you seen X-Men 97?
So a little bit about me, even though I've got the X-Men figures behind me here,
Mm-hmm.
I have not finished the animated series yet.
Leaf, get out.
I thought I did, but I started it back when it wasn't on Disney Plus correctly, so it just stopped playing new episodes for me.
Oh, weird.
So I'm working my way through it and like skipping a few episodes because I want to watch it.
Yeah. But you want to get there in the plot.
Yeah, I want to get there in the plot because I'm curious about, because I know it ties into the last episode of the animated series. So I want to make sure that I get that properly. So I haven't seen X-Men 97 yet.
Okay.
But I did play the intro to it in my class.
Hold on, why? Like under what context?
So we were talking about social media content and like content for YouTube versus content for Instagram and like captions. So I was looking to see like something that was posted recently on Instagram and a YouTube page, and I found that on the Marvel page. So
nice.
They posted it on Instagram with Skip with the caption "Skip intro, never heard of her," and then the caption on YouTube was a lot longer. It was "Skip intro, never heard of her," and then it just said the lyrics, and it was ba da 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 da.
I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I don't think the students appreciated it as much as I did, but
you know what? Sometimes you got to do stuff for you.
Yeah.
I do have to say, X-Men 97 is definitely set up for people like me that haven't seen X-Men the series in a while. Will not go back to watch it, not for any real reason. I just won't. Won't go back to watch it, but is definitely hopping in here to the point where they're like, I'm Cyclops. Here are my laser eyes. Like, they will like explain to you what everyone's power is and what their relationship is to each other. Like, again, so it definitely helped me, but I can see why, especially knowing what I know about how the series ends, because it picks right up, why you would want to experience that for yourself. So It looks like my discussion of how anyone else in the world felt about X-Men 97 will have to wait for another day. We'll come back to it.
The biggest thing that I'm taking away from this show right now, because I haven't seen it yet, is it gives me hope that they're going to do the same thing with the animated series for Spider-Man. Because that kind of just ended and he never found Mary Jane. So I'm hoping that they give it the same treatment and go back and revisit that story.
Wasn't there a sequel series where he was on another planet though?
And I want them to ignore that completely.
I was like, wait a minute, are we starting from the other planet or no?
No, just that multiverse, like Spider-Verse stuff. No, that never happened.
That's fair.
So,
I just like what's going on Ryan's screen right now. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we?
We shall.
So that brings us to our main topic for today, which I will lead because it was my pick for everybody. 1989's Roadhouse, which, if you're on the screen right now, I definitely accidentally drew the 4K Ultra HD box art for it because I thought it looked cool and forgot the banner was at the top. I had seen this as an adult. I think I saw this movie when I was living with friend of the show, Chad, because I'm pretty sure we had a day where we just walked around going, Roadhouse, and I had no idea what we were referencing. And at one point, Chad's like, just watch the movie. So we watched the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I want to share that fun with you guys. Guys, have either of you, and I think we established this earlier, but I want to make sure, have either of you seen Roadhouse before?
No.
I had not.
Getting no's. All right. So then, aside from the Family Guy like clip that I'm clearly referencing, where Peter just walks around kicking things and going, Roadhouse, do you guys have any idea, or had you any idea about this movie before you went into it? Ryan, we'll start with you.
I seriously thought that this movie, I seriously thought that any time in any spoof thing where someone did a roundhouse kick, I thought that was referencing this movie. Clearly, I was wrong.
Yeah!
There was never a roundhouse kick in this movie.
No.
That I can remember from watching it last night. But yeah, I knew that Patrick Swayze was in it. I knew that it took place in Missouri, but I just never cared to watch it. And I thought I had it one point, I guess, when I was really young, and I don't really know what movie I was thinking of, but this is the first time I've seen this.
Incredible. Alan, do you know anything about this movie aside from the Family Guy reference?
I knew about one of the kills in it.
Okay, I'm
That's
sure
it.
I know which one.
That's all I will say. Oh yeah,
We're gonna have to talk about that because
yeah, I heard about it and it took my breath away.
So with all of that in mind, then we'll start with Ryan. Then Ryan, what did you think of Patrick Swayze's first outing since what was his first one? This is his second movie. He was in. You made us watch it. I can't remember the name.
I missed that. What did you say?
What was the first? What was the movie you made us watch with Patrick Swayze in it?
Ghost.
Nope, other one. At the camp.
Red Dawn.
Nope, the other one that I'm
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. That's it. What did you think of Patrick Swayze's first outing since Dirty Dancing?
I didn't think so. I did not know that there was an 80s equivalent to the tail end of the Fast and the Furious movies until I watched this.
What a really good take on this movie.
So it was pretty much him just every 80s action movie came to a head, and this movie came out in 1989, and I truly feel that this movie was just the swan song for 80s action movies. And the hero coming into town to save the day. And of course it's Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, I read some of the Metacritic stuff on IMDb, and I found the perfect oh crap, did I take that screenshot wrong? Yeah, I did.
Androids, man.
Oh no, here. So no, it's right. Don't be talking crap on Androids, Alan. No. Apple people. What do you expect? Anyway, I land somewhere in between the Chicago Reader's description of the film gets campier by the minute and the very top one on my screenshot, which is from the Chicago Sun-Times. Roadhouse exists right on the edge between the good bad movie and the merely bad. And that's where, in between that is where I land on this.
It's a really good description. I'm probably somewhere in there too. Alan, what did you think of Roadhouse?
It was not what I expected at all.
What did you expect? Because that was my same reaction when I first saw this.
I was expecting something more cowboy-esque, more country western for some reason. I was expecting cowboy boots and cowboy hats and yeehaw. And it was not that at all. It was, I knew it was going to be violent. I didn't realize what this movie was until I saw it, and I'm still not quite sure what it was. I can see why people like it because it is insane. But the 80s, man.
Whew.
The
I'm-
80s. Wow.
So for those of you who haven't seen Roadhouse, I'll give you a quick plot summary. Patrick Swayze, who is world renowned as either the second best or best bouncer in the business, is recruited from his job to go work the Double Deuce in Jasper, Missouri, because it is a rough and tumble roadhouse and they need to clean up their act. Now, Patrick Swayze has a past. He can't stop ripping people's throats out, and he has to overcome that in order to help save the Double Deuce and ultimately fall in love with a doctor in the town. I think that's as good a description as anyone can ever give this movie. I've been thinking about it all week.
The only thing that I would take away from that is not the like has to get over his obsession of ripping throats out, just like, like I would pull that back a little bit. Like that's his finishing move. Like he's pretty much like this movie is a explanation of like a Mortal Kombat character that has yet to be in the video game series.
Yes.
This is like the origin story for a Mortal Kombat character.
Well, like, can we just jump into the throat part for a sec? Because they bring it up early in the movie. And early in the movie, they're like, we heard that he ripped a guy's throat out. And like, that was the rumor going around about him. Because there's rumors going around about this, hot, young bouncer. And like, at that point, I go, yeah, that's clearly not what happened. That's clearly just a rumor that's been going around with him. Until he does it on camera. And in which case, this is my second time seeing the movie, I rewound the movie to watch him rip someone's throat out again, because I went, he didn't actually just do that. And he did.
I did too.
Did you?
I did it too. I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting like all of this, and there'd just be like a hose dangling there. Because I just thought it was going to be like over the top ridiculous, but no, it's like anatomically correct.
Yeah, it was like just like
He rips out his trachea, like
Yeah.
he just like this part right here, just grab, pull, which in itself is ridiculous. Like it's not, yeah.
So one of the things that I'd forgotten completely about this movie when I watched it was, to Alan's point, how violent the movie is. And then also how much naked there is in this movie. Not that ever bothers me, but I don't think I was expecting that much. And I don't know that it added a single thing. And
okay,
go ahead.
It's the 80s.
Yeah?
It's the 80s. This is what, like, in the 90s, early millennium, even now, people say about, oh, yeah, that's totally a dude movie. Like, that movie was made for guys. That's what this, this is one of those movies. That's what happens in these movies. There are tons of movies like this that were made up until, like, 5 years ago, where, like, whenever they could find an actress to, like, take off her shirt, they would do that, regardless of what the situation was.
I guess that's fair. I guess I don't watch too many of these kinds of movies. I would just watch this one because it's fun, because it's Roadhouse. But at the time I was like, that's another topless person, and there's another topless person.
The only one that like advances the plot a bit and like that adds to the story is when the bad guy's girlfriend starts stripping in the Roadhouse in the Double
Oh
Deuce.
yeah.
And like does that whole thing where it's him like making a power move and like Dalton reacting to it.
Yeah.
Like that kind of helps establish their relationship a little bit more, right after they burn down the hardware store. But beyond that, yeah, like it is the 80s.
Yeah. So
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Every single scene, it was needed.
So one of the other 80s things I think is very funny is just the Bond villain of a bad guy behind this movie. What did you guys think of him?
Can I talk about the introduction?
Yes.
And this is going to get to cars. It's a car movie. I'm going to talk about it.
No, let's do it.
As soon as they showed him singing along and swaying back and forth in a red exterior, red interior, late 80s, like almost the Fox body Mustang, I was just like, cartoon villain, total cartoon villain. And then when they show Dalton driving along and Dalton has to like swerve off the road not to get hit, my first thought was I would have rammed right into him. Like, he's in a convertible. He's the one that's in the most. He's the one. I mean, both of those cars, they both would have been dead, but the one in the convertible would have been extra dead.
Alan, what did you think of the bad guy?
Oh man. It's very Bond-esque. It also reminded me of Hank Scorpio from You Only Move Twice
Yes.
on The Simpsons. It's very like cartoony, like elevated. I'm the bad guy. Like the only thing he's missing is a cat that he's petting the whole time.
My absolute favorite thing with him is that you go into his house, like you see his house, and he has like a trophy room, and the trophy room isn't just like deer and like and a moose or something. It's like orangutans and like rhinoceroses. Like he's the villain from Ace Ventura 2. Tell me you have it at the ready.
Ace Ventura 2. When Nature Calls on VHS. Yeah, I just picked it up at Goodwill.
He had it within arm's length for all of you that are listening. But
Yeah.
it was like he like murdered a small zoo and like put it in his room.
So that was okay. So the reason why, if you were to do that in a modern movie, that would be over the top villainous because you would have to poach some of those animals like today. Back then, literally almost everything that was in his trophy room at that time was totally acceptable for him to go out and hunt, because not every country, not every sovereign nation in those parts of the world had laws against that yet. So some of those animals in there, for where he killed them, he wouldn't have suffered any repercussions from.
That's bananas to me. Like I didn't know that was. I am so glad I didn't grow up in the 80s then. Holy cow.
I did from 1 to 5, and I think that answers for a little bit of my personality.
So hold on. Speaking of cars, Patrick Swayze drives like a nice
beautiful
car.
Mercedes, a beautiful 2-door. It's the only Mercedes that I really like are real modern Mercedes and Mercedes that were made before 1992.
Am I in the wrong line of work? Like that seems like bouncing pays a lot of money.
Okay, so he wasn't just a bouncer though. Like he was like head of security at top clubs.
That's fair.
So he was probably making an equivalent of 6 figures a year. And
Just
if he's
imagine
living on his own for, the cost of living back then, 100%.
He could afford that.
100%. He could afford those cars.
If he's making that much at top clubs, imagine how much he's making at topless clubs.
Damn it, Alan.
You gotta know where the money goes.
What did you guys think of his character, though, of Dalton himself? Because I actually found his character to be one of the more charming things about the movie. Specifically, I really like his whole, like, unwavering, like, very happy personality. One of his 3 rules is always be nice. I like that. That, like, makes me immediately on his side and not just the fact that he had a lot of shirtless scenes.
So, this might kill this whole idea for you about like the movie. I did very shortly and very temporarily security work at Walmart where I used to work.
Oh,
I will name drop. I don't care. So
what are they gonna do? Sue us?
Yeah. So, I did asset protection, or asset protection, what they called it, loss prevention, which is what the majority of companies call it.
Mhm.
I got to wear normal street clothes, walk around the store, look for people stealing, stop them, that whole thing. Within 1 week of training, I was told that my position was no longer needed at my store because they changed their statistics on how many APs were at each store. And then I
Oh.
was in limbo for 3 months. So I was like the permanent witness when it came to these stops with the actual person who would do the stops.
Oh.
But his rules about always being nice, if you need to lead them out, he said grab them by the arm, but we would kind of push the back of their arm and
Mhm.
be nice. It's the whole mirror thing. People who are being aggressive more often than not, if you stay calm and you're calm with them, they will tend to mirror what you are doing.
Oh.
It's the and then that's how people in loss prevention get people to follow them into the security room. It's because the people kind of realize, oh crap, I'm caught, and then they follow. A lot of them don't get that angry where they run over the person. Of course, you hear about that in the news. But anyway,
Right.
when he was going through that, I'm like, oh, this sounds like my security training. When you stop someone, be nice. If they get loud with you, be nice. It's the exact same thing.
Oh, wow. That didn't ruin it at all for me. That makes it very cool for me.
The fact that that's actually a thing.
Well, I did some research. It turns out in 2015, the NYPD actually used that speech from this movie as part of their training.
Yeah.
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 That
Alan,
checks out.
was that your experience over the weekend, Alan?
Yep.
What did you think of Dalton as a character, Alan?
It's not what I expected. Knowing what I knew about this film, I wasn't expecting a straight laced kind of somebody with the mentality of being nice. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting hard ass, no, my way or the highway, which he is to an extent, but he can go in between that and the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting that complexity in this character.
Mm-hmm.
That depth of performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about it. I just answered about his speech. I didn't tell you about what I thought about the actual character.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just realizing that now. He was really the only thing that pulled me through this movie.
Oh, yeah?
Him and the doctor were the only two people that actually pulled me through this, and everyone else was just there for comic relief, literally.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So Devon, I need to know something.
Yeah.
Because you don't meet Dalton first. You meet the guy who owns the Double Deuce. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Who owns
You and
Double
I need to
Deuce?
start that Lost podcast because that's John Locke's dad.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, shoot.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I didn't know that.
So immediately, I was like, oh, I don't like him. And he won me over.
Aw, he was good. I liked him.
Yeah, I liked him in this too. Can we talk about Sam Elliott for
I
a
was
second?
gonna talk about Sam Elliott. I forgot he was in this movie.
I didn't realize he could ever not have a mustache. He went full beard like me and Devon. He has full facial hair. Usually it's just the mustache.
I think it looks good on it because he has the full beard and the long hair. Not that that's the exact look I'm going for right now, but Sam Elliott, well done.
Well, we need to see your hair down so we can compare.
Okay, well here this goes. Ah, there. It's not that far. It's only down to my shoulders right now.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
You've got the gray too. So
I know. I got to go full Sam Elliott real soon.
Yeah.
Minus the stabbing part at the end. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I only really know him from the meme.
Which meme?
The one where he's in the cowboy hat at the bar at the bowling alley. And it's always we'll see her here if you were a man. And then at the bottom, it's some man joke or something.
Yeah.
Like the whole like tough, like tough guy.
I know he's on Family Guy now. Ironically,
What?
he's the new Mayor West. He's the mayor. I think it's Mayor Wild West.
That's actually really
See,
funny.
that's funny.
Yeah,
I like that.
and I'm sure they've done a Roadhouse joke with him that I missed because I didn't realize he was in Roadhouse.
Oh, they have to. If they do have to look it up.
So
Ryan, I have a
Mhm.
question for you because
Yes.
you're the car guy.
yes.
The monster truck scene. How did you
Yes.
feel about all of those cars getting destroyed?
they were
Was there
Fords.
anything in there?
I
You
don't care.
You don't care.
They're
Okay.
Fords. So the only
No,
Ford.
you could leave it. You could leave it at that.
Well, I mean, what I found funny was that scene had that is the monster truck. Like, people talk about,
Yeah.
it's like monster truck rallies and stuff. The original monster truck is that Ford F-350 that is in this movie. I don't think that's the actual one, but that's what all monster trucks are based off of. And I remember back when I was really, really young and my family lived by St. Louis, Missouri. You would find that thing at Ford dealerships randomly across the area. Like, it would be at this Ford dealership, then it'd be at that one this week. And then you drive by and you could see it I was a little kid. So I think like, oh, it's miles away. It was probably like 500 yards, being a little kid, you don't know the difference. But yeah, like that. It was just a bunch of late 80s Fords station wagons. I was actually upset about the glass breaking than anything else.
So I think one of the things that also surprised me about this movie the second time around was how the movie ramps up what the premise is versus like what we get towards the end of the movie and how quickly it gets there. So like it starts as like, oh, he's just barred, he's just watching after this bar and it's a bit rowdy and he's going to have to, probably go up against a biker gang. And by the end we have whole buildings exploding and whole people actually dying. Were you guys
Yeah.
like surprised that the movie went there and went that far like I was? Or were you like, it's the 80s, of course it went there?
No, I wasn't, because as soon as they established that there was this guy that was kind of like that had his hands and everything
Mm-hmm.
to a point, I kind of like I didn't think that they were gonna like have 5 explosions going off to destroy a wooden shack auto store. But like I would say about halfway through the movie, I was like, okay, it's like a mafia deal. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is, like, because as generic as the whole, like, oh, this guy owns the town and everyone, has to pay protection money and all that, like, for how generic and played out that storyline is,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why that storyline exists. And it's because for a long time in this country and in other countries, things like that did happen where one rich guy controlled the whole town. Even the police were at his mercy. Like, these things happen. These stories come from places.
It's really funny you should mention that, Ryan. I was going to bring this up a
Why?
little bit later, but did you guys know this is roughly based on a true story?
I'm not surprised.
Tell me about this true story, Devon.
So in July 10th of 1981, in Skidmore, Missouri, someone named Ken McElroy, who was known as the town bully, got murdered in broad daylight with 40 witnesses all around him. And when the police came to investigate that murder, not a single person in the town admitting to having seen that, even though they all know that they would have seen something. So every single person that witnessed it said, we didn't know what happened. We weren't there. We didn't see it.
Did somebody say that he was under the polar bear? That has to be my favorite line from this movie.
Yeah.
And that's where they end it. Like that's like one of the like for me, I was like, okay, roll credits. Like that's the end of the movie.
You're good now. Yeah.
Don't need anything else. Actually, no. Is that the last line of the movie where they just go back to the bar and there's music playing?
It shows. I think they say something to each other when they're swimming in the pond.
They do.
Or river. which that's nasty water. Just saying,
It's-
that's
Yeah.
nasty
That- it's-
Midwest. That is nasty Midwest muddy river water.
It's one of those scenes that's supposed to look really, really like hot, but is so gross if you take a step back and think about what's going on. Like there,
Somebody's buying Monistat after that.
it's so gross.
I think I just broke Alan.
You broke
I
Alan.
just broke-
I wasn't expecting a monostat joke on the podcast ever.
Surprise! Patrick Swayze took us there.
So Devin, why'd you make us watch this one?
I just think it's a fun movie, man. I mean, it's one of those that like I've always had in my back pocket for like a rainy Tuesday, and it has been
It's
just
been pouring here for a week,
Yeah, it's
so
been
thank
pouring.
you.
Yeah, it is. and like it has been just rough lately. And I'm like, you know what I need? I need shirtless Patrick Swayze just ripping throats out. That's what I need this week. Let's do it.
But he only did
Not-
it. Okay, so he only did it once.
But he almost did it in the end. The major character the major character turning point for Patrick Swayze is when he's about to rip the guy's throat out. He sees Doc watching him
Okay.
and decides to not do it.
Okay, so one of the things that I have to mention about the whole throat rippy outy thing,
Yeah.
when they talk about it, when they actually say that that's what everyone's like, oh man, really, it's Dalton, like, and everyone's like talk about his back. Nobody mentions the throat thing until he's invited to the Bond villain's house that he's
Mhm.
living literally across the river from, like the stream, and invites him over. And it's one of my two favorite scenes in this whole movie because for how crazy dumb this movie is, it is such an intelligent scene. So he walks in, okay, and he sees the woman that hit on him the night before.
Mhm.
She's doing 80s style aerobics and her face is all busted up. So then he continues forward. They're alluding to the fact that he beat her that
Oh,
night.
sure.
So he walks in and the guy's having breakfast and he invites him to have something to eat. He says no. Something to drink. He says no. He's sitting at the and the Bond villain's at the table, and he invites Patrick Swayze's character to come and sit at the table where he is eating, so they can have a conversation. And Patrick Swayze paces around the room and then eventually sits in a chair as furthest from the Bond villain as possible as they're having the conversation. And that's when they bring up the whole throat rippy outy thing. But what I love about this movie is that there is so much symbolism in that because over in Britain and over in the States, I'm sure everywhere else, there's a symbolic thing about, like being equals and like sitting at the same table and eating from the same food pretty much, and like being, seen as equals and working something out. And to me, that scene is intelligent because Swayze wants nothing to do with this guy. He will not sit at his table while he's eating. He will not share food with this guy because he sees him on a different level than himself. And I find that really intelligent for a movie that's Roadhouse.
It's a really
I love
good
about
analysis.
What I love about this movie is that Ryan just keeps calling the throat rippy outy thingy.
The throat rippy outy thingy.
So Devin, you making us watch this has nothing to do with another film that just came out?
Oh, well, Alan, it certainly has everything to do with another film that just came out because I actually watched another thing over the last week. I watched 2024's Roadhouse starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
I do have a story about this.
Okay.
It sounds like you both do. Tell me.
Ryan, what's your story? Mine's not that exciting.
Okay, so I told Kristen that I was watching this movie. She's never seen it before. So she said, "Oh, I just saw the trailer." And I was like, "You watched the trailer for a movie from 1989?" And she goes, "No, I saw a trailer for the new one." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's not the one Devin's having us watch." And she's like, she was a little like, upset about it. But
Sorry.
then she was like, I showed her, like the cover on Amazon Prime for like the old one. And she knew that Patrick Swayze was in it to begin with, but she was like, yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal just doesn't, to her in the trailer, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't fit the role right for being like the character because Patrick Swayze was in the original. And then you have Jake Gyllenhaal playing the character, like it doesn't really add up. And then throughout the movie I'm watching, And I go, oh, now I get it. Like, hey, Kristen, you know how you said before that like Jake Gyllenhaal has like the nerdy professor, like handsome look, and Patrick Swayze has like the strong soldier, like handsome look. She goes, yeah. Like, well, there's a running joke that everyone tells Swayze that they would think that he was bigger, and I have a feeling that's going to play out in the new one because it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Am I right?
You're certainly right. I mean, it's
Okay,
basically
good.
that's also the same kind of joke. There's also a little more to there as well too.
Okay.
I had every intentions of watching this completely for the podcast, and then didn't. I watched Ricky Stenicki instead. Um, but I did make the conscious effort to watch a bit of this before the podcast. Devon, I want you to take a guess of where I stopped.
Oh boy, you stopped at. Were they talking? Did they even get to the tree, or was it well before that? Did you stop at the train scene?
I stopped at the train scene.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
I'm good.
I'm good. I might go back and finish it just to see it the whole way through, but I ran out of time. But yeah, it was just weird.
You know
I
what?
didn't. Yeah.
You know what? I truly think, and this I've thought about this a lot, and this might hurt me to say, and it might hurt people to hear, but I'm gonna stand tall on this one. I think this movie, the 2024 one, is the better version of this story.
I've heard that from everyone.
Have you really?
I've seen that in reviews.
I've see, I haven't seen a single review. Okay.
Yeah, when I went to do some research on this, and I looked up, I found a lot of Reddit posts.
Yeah.
And usually Reddit can be really just, like
I stay away
completely
from
one
it.
way from the other.
Yeah.
Everyone on because like I saw it and it was like the 3 Reddit previews I got. The 3 Reddit previews I got when I typed in Roadhouse, all 3 of them were about, hey, the new one's better than the old one, and everyone agreeing with it.
I think they do a lot that's very smart with it. Specifically the throat rippy outy thing. I think they do so much better. So it's not that like they take it for what it's supposed to be and not the meme that I keep accidentally making it. Where the point of that is that Patrick Swayze's character doesn't know when to end a fight. He keeps taking the fights too far. And that's Jake Gyllenhaal's thing, is he keeps taking the fights too far. He's hard to anger. He's a really happy, really chilled guy. He'll be very polite to you the whole time. But if you make him mad, he doesn't know when to stop. And that's the character arc there, is that he needs to learn when to stop in a fight. And it's really well done. Also, the cast for this movie is bananas. Do you guys know the cast for this movie?
Yeah, and I was upset. It actually makes me a little mad. But
Why?
knowing what I know about the original makes me kind of... I do not like that UFC fighter.
Conor McGregor?
I find him annoying. I don't... he is one of the last people in the whole like athletic spectrum that I would want to see become an actor.
You know, after watching it, I don't think this is going to change your mind on him at all. He went for something. Yeah, that's what he does the whole time. He walks. Yeah, that is exactly what he does.
I cannot stand his persona.
That's it
at all. Alan, sorry.
So I heard a review of this movie from a friend of the show, Bill, who said that Conor McGregor's introduction is just insane.
Oh yeah,
with him, yeah, and then he doesn't elevate it from there at all. Like he's just insane the whole time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I actually liked about it, was more the character than the portrayal, because he is just chaos. That is all he is, and I really, really liked the fact that like there is that kind of character that's just chaos on the screen as like something for Jake Gyllenhaal to play off of. He almost acts like a Joker to Jake Gyllenhaal's Batman, which is way looking too deep into this movie, and I like that. But also, like, this movie had me being like constantly Googling, like, is this the guy I think it is? Because like Post Malone shows up in this.
You thought he was Post Malone?
No, Post Malone is here. He's
Post
in this
Malone
movie.
is in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, he's in the movie.
no,
Okay.
he's in this movie.
I wanted he's in the first scene, right?
Yeah,
The first fight.
yeah.
Okay. Why did that look so bad? It looked like it was CG from this 2002 Spider-Man.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know what was going on either. And like the whole time I was so distracted because I was like, is that really Post Malone in this movie? And it like
It
the
looks
scene was bad and weird.
That's part of the reason I'm like, I might not finish this because it just looked bad. If that's what the fight scenes look like, it's like I have no desire to watch the rest of it.
No, they get better. They definitely get better.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like somebody like Post Malone's agent was like, "Hey, you can have him in a fight scene, but it has to be all CGI because we don't want to hurt his face. We can't have
Smudge
anything.
any of those tattoos.
We can't have anything on his face that will blemish it."
I certainly see it. Look, if you guys have
He's a sunflower, damn it.
He is a sunflower. He is a national treasure, and he is the next Taylor Swift. So we need to protect him at all costs.
as soon as he gets a Disney Plus show, then I'll watch it. Look, if you guys are in the mood for Roadhouse silliness, I say watch it. The one thing they also do is they make the Roadhouse be called Roadhouse. And it's not a Roadhouse called the Double Deuce, and I like that.
Well,
Yeah, because double deuce makes me just think that you're doing something twice in a bathroom.
Right?
well, that's what the joke was when was it Patrick Swayze's teacher
Mhm.
comes and he looks at it and he goes double deuce. And he walks in.
Yeah.
But I just want to say my last note that I wrote down. My second favorite scene is dumb.
Tell
It's
me.
just-
Tell me.
I don't know why, but it's just a shot, and I think Alan will appreciate this. It's like 3 frames maybe worth of film, and it's when that other character, his like buddy, shows up, and they're driving down the road, and it's like the camera's mounted to the hood, and Patrick Swayze's driving, and his buddy's in the passenger seat, and he's just staring right through the hole in the windshield, and he just has like a smirk on his face because he's just like, yeah, it happened. Like the second and a half of that shot, that frame of him just looking right through the hole, and Swayze just ignoring it completely, driving is just, I love that 1.5 seconds. Of just that frame, that shot is just great. Humor is amazing in that one.
No, I'm with you. Agreed. That's all I got, man.
That's all I've got too.
All right.
Yeah, maybe I'll check out the rest of it. I don't know. I've got a busy weekend. I will be in Winchester, Virginia, with our friends at Victims and Villains for the Horrific Hope Film Festival. So if you're watching this live on Wednesday night, come out to Winchester at the Alamo Draft House. Check out the film festival, support independent film, and Victims and Villains. Friend of the show, Josh Howell, will be there, flying in from Nebraska. Have to pick him up at the airport tomorrow, so that'll be a lot of fun. So my pick is next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave this one up to chance, guys.
Okay.
So if you're listening to the show, I am currently sitting in a different setup with my DVD and Blu-ray collection behind me. I cannot see what's behind me.
Oh, I love this.
So if Devon and Ryan are okay with this, I want to try something. I'm going to reach behind me and pick out a movie for next week.
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to be. I'll let you guys guide my hands. I will do it twice. I'll pick out 2 movies, and we'll have the option. That way, if we've all seen both of them, we can pick which one we want to talk about.
Okay, done.
So Devon, you get to go first. Which hand and which shelf?
Left hand.
Okay.
And then I want it to be the shelf directly behind your back. So not the one behind your head, but the small of your back. Yeah, right there.
This
That
one?
that
Or,
one.
or down here.
No,
This
the top one. There we go. Perfect. And
Tell me
stop
when.
right there. Right there's perfect.
I'm just-
I can't. It's
I'm
gonna
just
be
waiting
Spice
for
World.
a back
Okay.
cramp. I'm just
All
waiting
right,
for a back cramp to like
All right,
throw
I
out.
have that one here. All right, Ryan, right hand, which shelf?
No, it's gonna be left hand again. Okay, so put your hand up like it was.
Okay.
Okay, move it to the left a little bit. Okay. Any of those movies right there. Just yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, so we have two options here. Devon, your pick was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yes.
Ryan, yours was The Lion King.
Okay. Okay. So
I can do it one more time if you want. If we don't want to do either of those, I can do it one more time, and whatever it is, that's it.
Well, I mean, I'm totally okay with doing this formula, and I'm leaning towards Temple of Doom.
I am too. That was my first thought. Is Temple of Doom.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
next week's episode belongs in a museum. We will be talking about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So make sure to follow us on Instagram for fun stuff from the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Like us on Facebook and listen to You Have to Watch This podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And check out Rum Runners Podcast Network for our show and all the other great Rum Runners Podcast Network podcasts. And check them out on Patreon. They're doing a lot of fun stuff over there. Maybe the movie draw thing will become a Patreon thing if we start doing our own Patreon, along with Devon's one-man show of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace by William Shakespeare. What's the Shakespeare one called?
What is the Shakespeare one called? I forget. I had it.
Yeah.
I have the book. I have the Shakespeare Star Wars New Hope book.
Oh, they did all of them.
Yeah. I just have that one.
Oh, it's just called Star Wars Part the First.
Okay.
Love it.
The Merry Rise of Skywalker. Oh man. All right. So until next time, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And all I had to do was ask myself if I was Alan, and it stopped.
Just the next
Kalema.
Good. What a
So
fun
we're
pick.
really going to talk about the shitty Indiana Jones next week. Huh?
It is. No, I'm sorry, but that is like my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Well, shit.
Wow.
All right.
So
Well-
this is going to be a good conversation for next week.
Well, I just played my cards.
It's okay. Believe me. I'm going to check out of this conversation until next week, simply because there's just too much going on.
Yeah. What's funny though is I'm not even going to watch it on my DVD that I pulled off the shelf.
Are you going to watch it on VHS downstairs?